Welcome to Knuckletown.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
Welcome to Knuckletown.
A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can.
Welcome to Knuckletown. It's your boy Big Face, man. As always with the KO Show, I get a little excited, man, because we have some heavy hitters on here. Okay. So a lot of you recently watched the launch of DAZN with BKFC in Marbella, Spain, for one of the biggest bare-knuckle spectacles, events, fights of all time. Had the greatest three co-mains you ever saw, with Tony Loco Soto and Franco Tenaglia putting on one of the greatest fights in bare-knuckle history. You had, no doubt, Trout defending his welterweight championship in style there in the bull ring. And you had one gentleman claim it, staking his claim to being the most dominant bare knuckle fighter in the world, pound for pound, #1 fighter in my book, Big Face book. We are welcomed here with none other than the middleweight champ of the world, David the Redneck Mundell. What's up, my guy?
What up? What up?
What up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm living the dream, man. Back home, got a little bit of cool weather coming in. I'm a Florida boy, so I'm freezing my ass off. First cold front already whooping my ass.
Hey, I'm in North Carolina. We feel the same way here, bro. We get the first little put on the jacket type shit. So, especially you coming over there from that paradise you just left.
It was chilly there too, man. It was comfortable. Nighttime, you better have a little jacket or something.
I mean, I couldn't tell it was chilly. Every time I saw you, you wasn't wearing a shirt, Dave. You had a jacket on, no shirt. And I saw no shirts in Spain.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit different culture over there, but it was cool, man, and the weather was, all in all, it was beautiful.
Well, let's talk about first, before we get into the fight and the ramifications of the fight or whatnot. Let's talk about the event itself, Redneck. What did it feel like? I mean, you've been here since the beginning, and you've rode this wave, and now the wave is, everyone can see the wave, right? And this event was a spectacle. What did it feel like to be involved in the event? The lead ups, the parties, the villas, the celebrities, the business people. Talk to us.
It was just another day in the office, it was cool, man. We were celebrities over there. Our faces were plastered everywhere. There's posters everywhere, banners everywhere. They had little street signs with all the me and my opponent and all the other fighters as well. And everyone was recognizing us. We were walking the street. Everyone wanted pictures, and it was a dream, man. It was a movie.
Well, rightfully so, man. A lot of people here have known for a long time the type of superstars we have in the sport. The world is starting to get acclimated to that because you guys are going mainstream, man. So we had the bull ring. I saw numerous. We had, of course, Knuckletown correspondents there. We had Howie Atherton there and some film crews. We saw the posters everywhere all over town. The whole city abuzz. I mean, the villa was beautiful. The parties were gorgeous. Now we get ready to go into this bull ring environment. What did that bull ring environment feel like on the walkout?
At that point, like, I'm kind of focused on the fight, so it didn't really mean much to me. But when we first got to the venue and like you walked in and you just took a look around, it was like we fucking made it. Like it was amazing. You just going out there and you got all the way it was all set up. They had like a red carpet, the VIP entrance. Everyone else is up there on the stage, just completely surrounded you. Big screen on the side, and it's just, I was like, they did that shit right.
And the crowd, man, unbeknownst to us, we are a rough and rumble crowd here in the States. You're liable to see a bunch of, graphic T-shirts and tribal tattoos and tough guys personas. But out there, it was a very classy crowd. Cass was dressed to impress. You saw some suit jackets, and it filled up a lot earlier than what we're used to seeing. Even during the prelims, Redneck, I saw lots of people in the building. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was right off rip. You know, everyone came in and they were really, you know, looking forward to seeing everybody. And then down on the floor, man, it was like it was crazy because everyone had like, you know, it was, I think they had that dress attire almost, like everything had to be all black and ties, and there were some well-known people around. And
So it was a black tie affair, but you should have put the bow tie on the bare chest. You should have done the whole Chippendale. You had the velvet jacket with the chesticles. You had the breasticles all out. You should have went ahead and fucking did the Chippendale tie, Redneck.
that
Maybe
was
with the
hooked up from
Confederate
my
flag.
buddy Jash, man, and he crushed it. He hit me up a few times, and I've always kind of like felt bad trying to not. I always feel bad taking things from people, even when they offer, you know. And finally, I was like, you know what? He's messaged me enough. I'm like, let me just see what he's got. And so he made me that little blazer, and that thing was dope.
Oh no, man! It looked the part. You look fantastic. You're the character that you are, man. This is what we build, right? We all know Dave. We love Dave Redneck Mundell, right? But the world got witness to Redneck this weekend, and you put your power on display. Let's get into the fight, Dave. Like, I mean, it was the easiest bet of my parlay. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. It was the easiest bet I had to make. You overpowered him really quickly, and that's what you've been doing your last several fights. So, I mean, your power increase. You've always had power, man, but now it seems like you're steamrolling guys. What is different? What's different now?
A mindset, man. I feel like I know this is like my purpose. You know, it's just I'm comfortable in there, and I've just really gained some confidence, man. I just know that all the work that I put in, I don't leave any room for doubt. You know, I'm always training. My work ethic is above everybody's. I grind so hard all the time, mitts, the classes, working out with my personal trainer. Like there's no rest days, and like I said, there's just no doubt because of that. So I go in there, I'm fully confident, and I just know that I understand what people want to see. They want to see the forward pressure. And when you do that, some people just can't handle it. And there's levels to this. And I showed it all that night.
Well, I gotta say, you know, and just what my experience has been watching you the last few years. Of course, a huge fan of the sport, fan of the way you approach the sport. You used to let yourself go in between fights, but now you're not. You know what I'm saying? You used to gain a bunch of weight. Now you seem to be staying in fight type shape. I mean, dude, very impressive performance. I think you woke the world up. And let's talk about the bear in the room, right? Let's talk about Conor McGregor. Totally impressed with you. He thinks you're a steamroller, and I saw some interviews where he said Mike Perry may be scared of the Redneck Mundell.
You know, everyone knows he is. He's been running for a long time, but no one believed me when I said that because I'm just little old Dave over here. But all of a sudden, McGregor says it. Oh shit, he was telling the truth the whole time. You know, it's funny because now he's like, now Perry knows. He's been put on notice. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna have to fight this guy. And y'all see what happened?
He definitely, to me, you know, as a journalist of the sport, he set up the matchup pretty well in that interview with Schmoes with Joes, which I saw you on an interview with Schmoes with Joes. Once again, just the global catapult of the sport. Listen, man, this fight's gonna happen now. This is a dream fight. We talked about this I've interviewed you several times, Redneck, and we always like, yeah, you can do. You showed up at all the fights, you egged them on, but it ain't gonna happen, right? You said they're gonna serve them up to me when what? When they're ready for the sacrifice, right?
Yep.
Well, they may be ready.
Listen, I know that he has done pissed Conor off. There was rumors that he's fired. Now he's coming back. Nobody knows what's going on. But I know as soon as the fight was done and and I seen Conor, like I grabbed him, I pulled him back over. I was like, yo, I'm like, me and you both have somebody we dislike. Let me knock his ass out for you. And he was just like, oh, yeah. He's like, I'm like, let me fight Perry next. He's like, I'm going to make that shit happen. I'm like, let's go.
I mean, the true fight fans of the sport, this is the fight we've all wanted for a couple of years. I mean, this is the fight. Like I heard him say, he said it out of his own mouth. Conor McGregor said, and I quote, he said, we had to make up a belt for him. We had to make a trinky belt, you know, the master of violence. He's never been the real champion. Is that what he said?
Absolutely, bro. Maybe we gave him that little fucking fake belt just to keep him happy and push out the stuff. But he's never been a world champion. He never will be, at least not in BKFC as long as I'm there.
So let's also talk about the fact that TMZ recently released a video, which I sent to you earlier on Instagram, highlighting the DUI arrest of Mike Perry on, ironically, the exact night you got to be part of the three co-mains of the biggest fights in bare-knuckle history, and he wasn't in the building. I didn't see him. Do you feel like that was directly? You feel like he went out and got on one that night?
Let me start off with saying, like, first off, luckily nobody got hurt. That's a fucking serious thing. It's bullshit. Like,
Absolutely.
there's no excuse nowadays to be drinking and driving. There's Uber and taxis are supposed to be free when you're drunk, and so many resources out there. That shit should never happen. Outside of that, I do think it has a lot to do with what happened. He just had the boss of BKFC, the organization that pays him the most, over there talking shit, letting him know that he's about to have a real fight on his hands. And the next thing you know, he just couldn't handle the pressure. He had to go, drink his stress away. And I think we're just getting underneath his skin.
I mean, he told the police officers in question. Some of you have not seen this. You go and Google TMZ Mike Perry arrest. You might have seen he called the officers some F words that may get you canceled these days, a bundle of sticks and whatnot. He also said, they know who I am. They know who I am. Do you think they knew who he was?
That's what I'm saying, man. It's sad because it's just a real messed up situation. He should know better. There's a difference between people like him and myself. I'm the people's champ. I'm respectful. I would never put myself in that situation. And if by some chance I wound up, and I'm definitely ain't gonna sit there and start back talking to officers and stuff like that. They got a hard enough job as it is, and didn't have to deal with some punk ass kid like that, man. But
we definitely hold the blue shield here at Knuckletown. We hold the blue shield. I didn't mean to cut you off, champ. I want to say, while you mentioned the people's champ, go to knuckletown.com, because right now we are voting on our yearly vote for you can have right here. Hang on, let me get off camera here. You can walk around with Big Face's people's champ belt. Every fighter right now, all their fans is voting. If you a Redneck fan, go to knuckletown.com and vote for Dave the Redneck, and he can be the people's champ right now. I'll say that because my producer, Matt Seibel, if I didn't say it, thank you. And Little Face to take that off camera. He'd be mad. So back to what you were saying, I understand it is a serious situation. Okay. It leads fuel to the fire, though. I think the fight is imminent, Redneck. I think we finally going to see Redneck versus Mike Perry. And what a fight it'll be.
Absolutely. Like I always knew it was eventually going to happen. I just didn't know the time frame. There was always the talk about the numbers and being able to sell the fight and stuff like that. And although the real fans want to see it, a lot of the homegrown people here understand what's going on. They want to see it. I get it. It's a numbers game. But now, backing of Conor, that shit don't matter no more. I could be fighting him in December, who knows? And then he could have another one or whatever and put me off a little bit. But he's gonna have to see me, and it's happening, and it's happening soon. Within a year, I guarantee it.
I don't know. December sounds pretty logical, man. I mean, Mike's not fought in a while, and you seem pretty unscathed from your championship defense. I don't see no marks on your face, and you made quick work of a really, really tough fighter. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about that fight, Redneck. I mean, it ain't like, you treat it, you play around and you treat things, and you're leading up to the fight. Well, I'm only fighting such and such, whatever. I'm only fighting Christie, but he was a serious competitor. You took him serious. The Shift is known for their preparation. Jihad, one of the best coaches in the game, had all his fighters ready, as he always does. What was your mindset stepping in that first round, and were you feeling them out? How was that process?
Going out there, it was just I was completely focused, man. I had my mitt coach Frankie, I had a good friend of mine Noah, and then of course Jihad, and all the preparation we put into the camp. But going out there, we had a little not problem, but like just getting my hands wrapped in time. I didn't really have a lot of time to warm up when it was coming up, and the fights were kind of moving and fast. They wanted us to be in position to get ready to walk, so they had me go out there so quick. But then they went on the intermission, so I'm sitting in the hallway warming up, and I'm completely calm at this point. Jihad's keeping me calm. And I could tell that my boy Frankie and Noah were like, oh fuck, dude, like this is not good. He's not having a chance to warm up. But I just like I said, I don't know, there's something about this fight. I knew how much work I put in. I know what I'm capable of. And going out there, I was calm, man. I was right where I was supposed to be.
And it wasn't just the forward pressure, which you always known to put forward pressure in the fights. You just looked stronger. And this is a really strong fighter you're fighting, a guy that's known to put punishment on guys. You just looked so much stronger at that weight. And it seems like right now you're just coming into your own. Right. You're like the mentality has lined up with the physicality. And now you know your path, right? I mean, you honestly, man, all respect to everyone involved, could soon be the king of the BKFC.
I definitely feel like I'm on my way up there. I think they just announced that I'm pound for pound right now, which is fucking pretty cool.
You big face. Hey, look, I already argued with Knuckletown. Everybody, hey, look, hey, I don't know how you don't see Redneck as the #1 pound for pound fighter all the way across the board.
I think a lot of other people are starting to see it too, you know. So, it's just surreal, man. I love it. I love this shit. I do all this stuff, man. It's just, I can't wait. I can't wait just to get back in there already. Like you said, I came out unscathed and little banged up hands, but I'm ready to go again.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that looks red on you probably is your hands, Redneck. Like your face looks like you went to Freddy's and got some burgers or whatever. You didn't go to Marbella, Spain, and be involved in the biggest bare knuckle spectacle. And if you haven't already downloaded DAZN, there's a special. I don't know if it's still running, but I got it while it was running. $12.99 for all United States customers. BKFC, follow through the links, man. $12.99. So with a total with the two apps, $20, man. You're getting a world of fighting. And that card alone was worth $100, man. You could have paid 6 months. That card right there with 3 world champions, all giving you fantastic fights. Now, you know, we even in Knuckleman, you had some duds. You know, you get these big names, and they're not always promised to be great, man. But all 3 of the main card, all the fights were great, even the prelims.
It was definitely an exciting show, you know. Like I think they had even the influencer fight, like the cameraman.
Yeah.
Like
Even
they were actually pretty good, you know. They were out there, so, you know, they were putting the work in. I was impressed, and he had made the joke that we get the lowest level fights, and I think they were above some of the ones that I've seen before for sure.
Well, and not only that, I don't know if you saw this, Redneck, but that led to a confrontation with Dana White, where a press member asked Dana in the press conference leading up to the UFC event, did you know that Oscar Willis is fighting in the bare-knuckle event in Marbella, Spain this weekend? He said, he runs Conor McGregor's social media, and he's part of the Conor McGregor team. He said, is that why he's not here? He said, I didn't know. And he was like, you have any advice? And he said, yeah, don't do it. It's too late. It's there. You are on the cusp of greatness, man. And like you said, you've just been doing what you do, being Redneck, man. You're great with the fans. You've been a fantastic fighter. Of course, you're dominant in the ring. You faced everybody. I heard Coltrane talking again. He wanted the rematch. You know, maybe that knockout wasn't what he thought it was going to be. But the only fight really makes sense for you is Perry, right? Is that the only fight makes sense for you?
You know, absolutely. There's not really anybody else right now that holds a record that matches up to mine to solidify them for a shot, you know. So with that being said, like, it's either that or they got to bring in some big names and let me be a gatekeeper and meet them at a different weight and not have them fight for a belt, kind of like what I was.
Well, you scared King Mo off, Redneck. You scared King Mo.
Like that, like that one. Like I was supposed to fight him and things fell through and whatever. But you know, I'm to that point to where all these other guys, even Sanchez, he's been all over me and has all his people messaging me and putting out there, and it's cool because like I understand what they're doing, like and it makes me feel good, like I'm living rent free in everyone's house and everyone's head, you know, because like they want to grow as well, so they're using me to get up there, and I'm all for
they
it.
They need on the Redneck rocket. They want on the Redneck rocket.
Yeah,
they want on.
and it doesn't bother me at all, you know. And if it came time where they're like, hey, will you fight this guy, there's nobody out there that I wouldn't get in that ring with. I don't care any weight, any time, man. I'm ready. I'd do it in a heartbeat, you know, negotiate some prices and let's roll.
Well, you've always shown to be ready to fight anyone, but I understand your stance on this, man, and where you're at as the pound for pound number one, presumably the pound for pound number one. I can see you being that across the board right now on the next rankings come out. So you think about those things. The only fight that makes sense is the Mike Perry fight, man. You've been a fantastic champion for BKFC. Talk about the rise of BKFC. You see it, right? So, I mean, you've been there since the smaller venues, the smaller crowds. Now you see the large crowds and you see the fans recognizing you. What's that feel like? The growth of the sport with you being a champion.
You know, I've been there since BKFC 6, and it's funny because everyone's like, oh, it was a small card. Like, that was at the fairgrounds, and I think even from that point on, like, Feldman was always doing this shit right. Like, he was doing this stuff right. He had always set up nice. It's always running smooth. You know, he's taking care of the fighters. You know, if there's something going on and some fighters start to complain, like, they do what they can to make it better. And, you know, this thing's going up. It's going to the top. You know, I think it's well on its way being bigger than the UFC one day, and hopefully I'm still around when that happens. I really collect the check then, but you know, it's the most exciting thing out there right now, and anybody who watches it, you know, they get hooked right away because of how fast paced it is. How, you know, it's just pure entertainment. You know,
it's built for these cats right now, Redneck. Right? Yeah. It's built for this.
You got a little bit of everything. You got people like myself who can actually box. They go out there and they, you know, they show some skill. You got the mediocre guys that go in there and they brawl it out. And then you even the low level guys who brawl as well. And it's just, there's always something, you know, and it's always exciting. And they got great matchmaking over there. And they always set up, they're just like, I mean, look at that main event, bro. That was, they knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew that shit was going to be a war. And that's why they were the main event. And they showed out on that card. That's
and not only that. I mean, the Tenaglia Soto fight showcased something that maybe a lot of people don't know about bare knuckle. You know, a lot of people get this idea in their head that bare knuckle is this tough man type sport with very low skill. But those three main events showcased how much skill is really in the BKFC with yourself, with Trout, with Soto and Tenaglia. That was a skilled match. That wasn't too. They were picking each other apart early, and then there was gas. It was all heart. You showed on that card just how much. So that's why I know the Mike Perry, the Redneck Mundell fight's coming, because these super fights is what the future is. This is what it is.
Absolutely. And no one can say that it's that we're not talented. You have a world champion boxer in there going toe to toe with somebody who I believe was only known through bare knuckle. At least
100%
with him before. So like if they're standing toe to toe going back and forth, obviously there's some skill there, you know, and it's just it's amazing to be a part of it all.
Well, and also speaking of that, I spoke with Jimmy the King Sweeney earlier, who's the BKB legend, 33 professional fights there in BKB, probably the most storied bare knuckle fighter in the world. And you know they folded, so looks like he's signing the BKFC in the 165 pound division, but he was there in Marbella, and that's what made the difference to him. Redneck, he said, man, he's never seen a production like that type of show. This is what he's been living for his whole life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did see something about how he was going to be the next champ, and I was like, not at 175, you ain't. Like you better.
He's avoiding that. He said he's aiming his sights at the welterweight division there, right?
Can't beat my boy Trout neither, though.
And you know, I'll say this, man, Jimmy the King Sweeney, man, it's just great to see. This is what I'm talking about, man, with the BKFC. We already know the homegrown stars. I've been selling it for over a year. That once you got to a point where you guys had a certain number of fights in the public seeing you enough times, our own homegrown BKFC guys will be enough to carry cards. And you saw it. And now, no doubt, Trout, you even have to say he's a BKFC guy now. Like, he's fought 3 fights. He fought Diego Sanchez. He beat Palomino. He's beat Franco in front, and he's very enthusiastic champion. So, really, to me, the 3 main events were all homegrown people as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, man. And it's just that's the beautiful thing about this. And they're because BKFC is becoming big enough to put us on the map as well. As long as we keep showing up, doing what we do, and we keep having cards like that, it's just there's nothing else that can happen. It's just going to continue to grow.
So, man, first of all, man, I consider you a friend, man. I really appreciate it. My time in this sport has been made better by people like you, man. It's the people in the sport. The fighters make the sport, but you guys are fantastic. Before we break off, man, I'm going to hit you after this. But before we break off, I want to say this. First of all, you got to shout out all your people, man, everybody that made it possible for you to make this happen in Marbella. And lastly, I mean, you got a message from Mike Perry. I know you got one. I mean, one last message.
Fuck you, Mike. I'm gonna beat your bitch ass too. But everyone from Shift, Frankie, my mitt man, he's been a huge part. I had a nutritionist through this camp as well. She played a huge role in keeping me in shape, and a lot with what you guys see me not bouncing up in weight so much in between the fights. My boy Nick over at Fitness 360, he's my personal trainer, and Chiseled Inc. He's another reason why my punching powers went up through the roof. My footwork's getting better through him as well. It's just a huge team that I have behind me. Even my marketing team, man, is helping me get the numbers up, So everything's falling into place. Team Mundell is fucking rocking out, and I can't wait to go out there and beat Perry's ass too.
Well, as always, man, thank you, champ, for taking some time to step into Knuckletown with you, the unofficial head of security in Knuckletown city limits right here at the top floor, Global Combat Radio, bro. And I'm going to tell you that you've been the most gracious for me ever since the beginning, man. I can't wait to see what's next. I hope this Perry fight, it's going to happen, man. The fans want it. Now the brass wants it, man. Thank you, Redneck, man. I appreciate you, bro. Dominant performance in Spain, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you guys having me on, giving me a chance to talk.
My man. Anytime, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
But there you have it, man. Dave, the Redneck Mundell, man, went over to Spain, put on a dominant performance. Knocked dude. What I say? Big Face called it before the fight. If he was on Instagram, if he was anywhere, talk to BK Bet Shark. Knockout in round 2, and Mundell made me smart again. The homegrown fighter is what's really going to propel the sport. And Dave Feldman has been smart. Nelson Lopez, these guys, the matchmakers over there, everybody has been very dedicated to the sport. Now you see the fruits of their labor happening, man. So we hope to see the super fight. You hear Connor, you see the issue. What do you think? Let us know down below, man. What's up with the DUI? All this craziness happening right now. It creates drama for a fantastic fight, man. And as Big Face always says, there ain't no Coliseums without the gladiators.
Welcome to Knuckletown.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off or get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
Welcome to Knuckletown.
A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can.